Manish Mudaliar, student of EPHM 2015, and I would like to share one of my experience of facing a challenge in implementing a public health program, and how we have found solutions to that. And I would like to present it in the context of public health management principles that we have been learning in the course. And I would like to use the public health dynamic framework into this presentation. So I would like to share about a challenge which we faced in a project that we have been working from 2010 on elimination of new HIV infections among children by scaling up prevention of parent-to-child transmission services in private health sector. This project is intended towards contributing to National AIDS Control Program goals. The goal of zero infections by 2015 that has been set by the country, as well as it intends to contribute to the global elimination goal of eliminating vertical transmission by 2015, which our country also is a signatory, which we are trying to achieve such goals. So if you all know that by and large in our country, 60 to 70% of the healthcare is sought from the private sectors, like mostly at 70% in urban centers, and 60% of the healthcare being provided by the private healthcare providers in the country. In such context, this public-private partnership plays a major role, because if you also look at the statistics of the government, we are currently only are able to reach out to 43.6% of the pregnant mothers with universal coverage of testing for HIV. So where we are missing, the missing links are with the private sector. The pregnant mothers who are accessing ANC care, delivery services, post care in the private sector are being missed out in the current PPTSD program, and that is the rationale where the public-private partnership program has been launched. And what does this public-private partnership program mean? It is to bring in the government as well as the private healthcare providers together to ensure that every pregnant mother who visits a facility, either be it government or be it private facility, is tested for HIV, is provided proper counseling, and if found positive, that she is put on the medication, and also the child is taken care of in terms of till 18 months of its age. Under this public-private partnership, the different partners have got different roles, and we as SATI, where I work, the Solidarity and Action Against HIV Infection India, is a technical partner, as being an NGO, trying to bring together government and private providers together to ensure the elimination goal is achieved. The government, if I had to go in detail, I think it would take time. I would just sum it up as what are the roles of government. The government provides test kits and other consumables to the private facilities who sign in the MOU and become part of the project. And also it provides linkages to the CD4 test, PCR test, antiretroviral therapy, and prophylactic drugs. And it provides trainings to hospital staff. The hospital has to delegate a nurse to be trained as a counselor, and also a lab technician to be trained under the protocol of to be trained under the national protocol of testing for HIV. And patient and provider education and communication materials also are provided by the government. On the other hand, the private healthcare facilities, if you look at in this PPP model, uh, does not get to gain monetarily, does not get to gain anything from it except for the free test kits and consumables that the private hospital receives. The private hospital is supposed to provide infrastructure for counseling services, for testing services, and also human resources, as I already spoke about, delegating a nurse or two to be trained as HIV counselors, and then the lab technician to be trained to test as per the protocol of the government, and then also provide cascade of prevention of parent to child transmission services. The cascade would mean starting from putting on the positive pregnant mother on antiretroviral therapy, ensuring the positive delivery taking place at the facility or proper referral being done, also ensuring that the child is provided prophylactic care, and the early infant diagnosis taken care of, and keeping registers and ensuring that the reporting on a timely basis, that's usually on a monthly basis, being done to the government. And as we, as a technical assistance partners, as I already said, that we provide this bridging, bringing together the government and private hospitals, and we provide ongoing technical support in terms of ensuring quality counseling services, quality testing services, timely support, submission of reports, that more and more doctors are well aware of PPTCT issues, and they are able to provide on-facility delivery services than referring them out to the government facilities. So these are some of the technical assistance as a technical assistant partner that we provide. So now let's come to what's the key challenge that we faced in rolling out PPP PPTCT program, especially in the context of Maharashtra. As I said, in 2010, when we wanted to initiate, a government also was skeptical. I would like to tell you here that government also was not very confident that whether this will work, especially in the context of HIV, because if it was a public-private partnership in other healthcare, maybe it would have been, we have had examples of other public-private partnerships. It's not that this is a new thing which is happening, but this was a little difficult because it was in the context of HIV, HIV in itself having its stigma, and the private players wanting to be away from such a stigma, or wanting to be branded, their facilities being branded as HIV providing facility, that which they fear that it would affect their business. So even government was skeptical. Thus, in 2010, government gave us 6 districts as a pilot to start off. And that's where we began. And then we found, when we had done the mapping using the government data of the existing private healthcare providers, especially the obstetric and gynecological service providers in these 6 districts. And then when we have shortlisted number of facilities which had high ANC load, and we went and met the doctors or the ones who are in charges of these facilities, what we found was most of them were unwilling to participate in this project. As I already said, the major reasons were being, first of all, many of them do not want to do anything with the government. They had this fear that things do not actually work well with the government. They had this fear of government doing more of regulatory work, controlling their facilities in the guise of public-private partnerships. So there were many such skeptical thoughts which came up, where and people do not want to keep registers, want to report to the government. So we were at a roadblock, and then this is where I would say where today, if I could analyze and see that I would analyze it in the context of this challenge which we faced in the initial process of implementing or initiating the implementation of the public-private partnership project. I would put it under the, if I were to put it under the systems dynamic framework, I would look at it in the framework, in the context of section of the context. Why I would like to put it in the context is the government policies, the existing relationships, the existing interactions, and the existing mistrust between the government as well as the private healthcare providers, because of various previous experiences, are what is being perceived between both the government being perceived by the private sector as being someone who is a regulator, who is a controller. If we entered into partnership, mostly they did not keep their promises, who would not deliver things in time. So which they would think as something which will affect their practice, they will affect their good name which is already been established in certain areas of their practice. So this, what is the roadblock that we faced, the roadblock emanating from the contextual relationship, the contextual interaction which was already there, and then solutions needed to be adapted understanding this particular context in the health system which was existing at the state level, at the district level, and at the sub-district level. Wherever the interaction between the government and the private sector had to happen, these are the issues, these are the contributing elements of the challenge that we are facing in terms of initiating the project. And solutions that we adapted to overcome this. So we understood that going by individuals, meeting individual practitioners is not going to work. Then look at it as a more of a systemic approach, looking at it at the systems levels and looking at the structural level and understanding the structures that they are connected to, the structures they are associated to, and sensitizing those structures, ensuring that those structures or institutions understand that this is purely a partnership and the government could be trusted, and Sati would play the mediator role or the bridge role to ensure that whatever the apprehensions which are in the minds of private healthcare providers will be addressed and the program will function smoothly. So one of the things that we did was to interact with the Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecological Societies of India, mostly the district level FOGSI units. We went and met the president, the secretaries, and the office bearers and spoke to them about what the PPP-PPTCT project was and how the private sector needs to contribute to this effort of elimination of pediatric HIV in the country. Because as a country, we have an obligation. We are signatories of the global goal, and we as an practitioners can do this, and only if private practitioners contribute that the country can achieve this goal. And once we were able to buy in certain level of buy-in from the FOGSI office bearers and the local FOGSI units, we also facilitated interaction of the FOGSI office bearers with the district medical and health officers. In the context of Maharashtra, we call them as civil surgeons who are in charges of the district HIV/AIDS program. So we brought them together. Also, the district AIDS prevention control unit, along with the district medical and health officer, with the FOGSI office bearers, and then help them to interact with each other and ask or express their apprehensions and get clarity before we moved on to sending invitation letters to the FOGSI members in the district calling them for an sensitization program, district level sensitization program. And we also ensured that the letters of this invitation went from Foxy president and also from the district medical health officer. So the district level sensitization meeting on PPTCT for the ANC service providers was conducted in all these 6 districts, and we ensured that the civil surgeon who was in charge of the HIV/AIDS program in the district, also the PPTCT consultant who was appointed by the NACO in the district, and the district AIDS prevention control unit manager, and then other counselors were present in the meeting, so that they were able to make presentation, also interact with the private healthcare providers who were present there, and emphasize on partnership. So one of the things that we made to happen in this sensitization meeting was that the government office bearers to speak on the partnership, that it was a partnership model, and it was not a regulatory effort. It was not a mandatory effort where we were sweepingly, the government would say everyone has to join, but then that it was an invitation, it was an request from the government of the private health practitioners to be part of it, and that the government would honor the partnership clauses which have been put up in the MOU, that the private health care providers along with the government and Sati would sign as a tripartite agreement. And once these sensitization meetings were happened, the team of Sati followed up with all the participants in one-on-one interaction. And then when they were willing, people started understanding the program. They started signing the tripartite MOU, which was a formal MOU on a stamp paper, and agreed to be part of the program. And the program took off in Maharashtra. And I also like to add that by September, October 2010, we were able to move, the government wanted us to move to another 14 districts, and later we expanded the program to 24 districts in Maharashtra. And I would quickly take you through the result after addressing the challenge that we faced. The result, of course, I wouldn't say that we didn't have other problems, other challenges. There are other number of challenges in a PPP model, which would take a lot of time to speak about, because there is continuous challenges, especially in the context of resources and inputs and service delivery, if we really analyzed using the framework. But I would just stick to this major challenge which we are able to address using the framework analysis. And the result from May 2010 to September 2015, if you look at, we had a total number of public-private partnership sites established, 547 sites established, and in September 15, we had 480 of them reported. Among the 547, some of them dropped out meanwhile during the time, or some of them we dropped because of the testing very less pregnant mothers. And the total number of referral sites, so that's another concept that we have come up over the period of implementing this project. Again, as I wouldn't go in detail into that, we have 770 referral sites, and the total number of ANC mothers that we were able to test, counsel and test under this program within this period were 491,680, and the positive mothers identified among them were 651 who were provided services and connected to services, and their children, exposed babies, were followed up to 18 months, or some of them still continuing to be followed up. This is the experience that I wanted to share. Thanks a lot.